So let's move on to our next Patreon request, and this one comes from John McKinney. Who asked me, as you can see from the title. Yeah, we've got an interesting one. A fanfiction idea of Freddy versus Predator. Let me say that again, Freddy versus Predator. So, God, I'm going to have to work hard on this one. Anyway, as always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below. Head on over to my Patreon where you guys can start sending me requests for videos to do here on YouTube. But other than that, hope you all enjoyed this, and yeah, let's get started with the video. So the story begins in Elm Street, and a young soldier, young soldier named Lee has come back from the Middle East. He's a veteran, and he was on the front lines. He was part of the infantry unit, and he kind of came back messed up. And the problem is he's not talking about his problems. He's just kind of like, he's come home back to Elm Street, and he's more or less not talking about what happened to him over there, seeing some of his friends get killed, seeing just the horrors of war firsthand, and he's just kind of like, Lee is like, I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to like even acknowledge it, and he's back home with his parents, and they're trying to like talk to him about it, but he's kind of suffering from PTSD at night, and in the daytime. PTSD doesn't just go away; it's there. So they're trying. So his parents are like trying to get Lee to silently go to the ease him into going to the VA, to talk to get into group therapy, but he's refusing it. So at night, when he's having one dream, he's having this horrific dream of watching all of his friends die around him, and then one of his friends springs to life. He was like, "You could have done something. Why didn't you just stay and die like a real soldier?" And it freaks him out so bad because he sees like his one of his buddies that was on the ground with his guts everywhere takes out like this gloved hand and just tries to slash at him. And he wakes up the next morning with like his shirt he was wearing when he went to bed cut open. He's like, "What the hell was that?" So he tells his dad, and he's like, something weird happened to me. Did like the cat get in the house or something? He's like, "Why?" "Because my shirt got ripped." And they're like, yeah, it was totally the cat. But he's not buying it. So Lee is just kind of out. He's looking for a job, and while that's going on, this light flashes in the sky, and everyone thinks, "Oh, cool, a meteor!" But nope, that wasn't a meteor. That was a Predator ship who has landed in the outskirts of town, and the Predator is looking for going on the hunt. Now, Lee, on the other hand, he's just kind of looking around, sending a application to the store, and they're like, "If you were smart, you wouldn't come back here, Lee." And he's like, "Look, dude, I wasn't born during that. I know everyone says he's like, "You're from Elm Street, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I was. I came from Elm Street." And they're like, "You've heard the stories, right, of what happened in Elm Street, right?" And he's like, "Yes." But hey, I thought we all moved past those suicides. And they're like, "If you believe the stories, they weren't suicides." And he goes, "Whatever." But yeah, he basically doesn't believe about what everyone knows what happened to those deaths, and they even bring up like the death what happened in Crystal Lake too. Freddy's kind of treated like a urban myth, and you don't really bring him up. He hasn't really been seen a lot, but people do see they claim to see in some dreams that he's still there. Now the Predator, on the other hand, the Predator has managed to find a pair of hunters. He kills them, brutally murders them, and leaves their bodies just hanging, and takes their guns and skulls as trophies. And the cops come out there, and they're like, "No, this isn't right." And they're like, "Do you think it was you-know-who?" And they're like, "No, this is not Krueger. This is not the Freddy Krueger MO." And they're like, "Well, and no one's heard of no one has seen the Predator. No one has seen Freddy or had any activity in over 20 years since that event that involved the Jason Voorhees killer, the hockey mask killer. So no one's seen him, but the Predator is now out there, and it follows them back to Springwood because it's like, well, I ended up in a bad spot. You know, there isn't a lot of fresh game here for me to hunt. But the predator does follow them to Springwood, and Lee's back home, and he basically is like, I don't even want to think about it. He goes back to sleep, has another horrible dream, but this time when he wakes up and after seeing Kruger, that's when he sees something at his window. Like, he can see like a vague image of something in the window, and that thing is, of course, the predator being cloaked. He like grabs his gun and is and just starts shooting out the window, and his parents are freaked out. It's like, Lee, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, I saw something. I fucking saw something. And they're like, yeah, Lee, just give me the gun, okay? And the predator got away, but it did get hit, so Lee does see like green blood everywhere. And Freddy's kind of getting stronger because he's feeding off of Lee's fears. The longer Lee like cages in his feelings and all of that, the more like his feelings are, the more his fear and internal grief is just consuming and making Freddy stronger. But however, even like Freddy was like, I don't know what that was. That wasn't me. But he's like, whatever. As long as it's helping me freak out this kid, I'll have some fun. So Freddy, Lee is like, I saw something and it had this green blood to it. I know I shot something, but no one really believes him because it could be he's having another PTSD episode. But he refuses to believe that, so Lee waits the other night, but then he falls asleep, wakes up, and is back on the battlefield. But this time, instead of when Freddy attacks him, and he's like, holy shit, you're fucking Kruger. This time he's woken up when the predator like grabs Lee and just chucks him, just wakes him up by just like hitting him because he's not gonna attack a sleeping foe. And Freddy's like, what the hell? So now I have to figure out who this is. So Lee encounters the predator, and he tries to fight the predator, but he just fails miserably. However, as they're fighting, Lee gets away. Like, Lee gets away from the predator, and now the predator is curious about it. But however, it did sustain some wounds in the fight, but he does see Lee as a worthy opponent, but he needs to heal up. So he goes and heals and rests, and when he's asleep, that's when he dreams of being back in his home world. But however, when he's meeting his elder, the elder takes his mask off, and it's Freddy, and he's like, I don't know who you are, you pussy-faced bitch, but you got a weird-ass mind. I wasn't a believer in, aliens and whatnot, but you're making me a believer here, buddy. So the Predator and Freddy fight, and he's like, you're not the first freak I fought, dude. I should tell you about Jason. Oh god, that guy had some dreams. You're a little more manageable. So him and the Predator fight, and the Predator is using his gear in there, but Freddy's like deactivating it. However, the Predator is noticing that the Predator, when he fights Freddy in the dream world, and he does get a few hits on him, he does uses his wrist blade to slice some of Freddy's sweater, and has it on his claw when he jolts awake. So now the Predator is like, oh, I know what I'm gonna do. Now I have fuck that kid. I got a real worthy opponent, something from the dream realm. So the Predator goes back to sleep. And this time when Freddy goes after him, the Predator grabs him and wakes back up, bringing Freddy with him, and he's like, oh shit. So the Predator and Freddy fight, and as they're fighting, Freddy is now completely outmatched in this matchup. But he did hold his own against Jason, so he's trying to hold his own against this just behemoth of a warrior. But the Predator cuts Freddy's arm off that has the glove, and he's like, "Oh fuck!" And that's when the Predator grabs him by the throat and yanks hard and takes Freddy's head. And Lee, who came back to find answers, he finds the Predator, and he's taken the skull. He's taken Freddy's skull, and that's when he looks at Lee, and Lee is just like, I don't even know what to say, but the Predator doesn't care about Lee anymore. He's like, I got what I wanted, fuck off. So the Predator returns and tells everyone, when he goes back to his home world, he tells everyone about the dream demon he slew. So, and shows the glove and head, and the head, like, eyes open, and it's, like, the ending for Freddy vs. Jason. So there you go, guys. That is pretty much my Freddy vs. Jason. There's a Freddy vs. Predator, excuse me. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of it? Comment below, let me know. Once again, thanks to John McKinney for this Patreon request. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.